An aging narcissist is like a mirror left in the sun too long. At first, it still reflects light, then it warps. Eventually, it shows cracks, and that's when the rage begins. Bro, sis, what I want to emphasize to you, you will always bother these people. it's, it's, it's no matter what you do and how polite and how you try to approach these individuals to convince them to change of their ways and whatever the case may have you. These people are who they are and how they're going to be. It's just what it is, bro. Sis, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, you got to understand about narcissists as they start. Like, my theory is there was a moment in their life where they got away with the most manipulation or the biggest manipulation and got rewarded for it. And they just take this ideology into any relationship as they go forward. You feel what I'm saying? Expecting you to tolerate toxicity because somebody prior to you did that. And understand every supply after that, as these narcissists collect your identities, they try to use that template on the next person. You know, that's why I say about them. Sorry, that's what I be saying about them when they go with the new supply. Like, the new, they're gonna wear out the new supply. Like, the mask, as they cannot continue to upkeep that kind of love bomb, that energy. The mask gets thinner. It gets thinner and thinner and thinner. You know, and that's why when you deal with these people, whether it's in families, especially in families, you know, where you got that person who's always saying something about you doing something positive. You the goody two shoes and all this thing. You've become a black sheep of the family just for being a good student. Like, listen to me, I don't live that life. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bit wild just trying to be a good person for these people. It bothers them. You know, your light, it automatic. You're not even trying to. It shines. And again, you put a direct microscope on narcissists, on who they're not. And these kind of people get bothered by it. You know, especially in relationships when they start to devalue you before they discard you. You know, they got a devalue of everything about you so that you can understand that you were worthless, so they can have that hero's escape, the hero exit. That's why that entire smear campaign looks like that. It looks like they had a hero exit and you were the villain the entire time. They need to have that. They need to have these narratives in their mind play out the way that they manipulated it to become, in order to feel whole, at the expense of however you feel about it and whoever else. And that's why it's so annoying. It's so annoying especially when you're in a relationship or have dealt with relationships with these people, because you can't understand, you know, how did I get so involved with somebody like this, so emotionally deep, and they never had the same reciprocation or energy for myself, or towards you, or not you or I. You know, that's what annoys you about it, for real, for real. It's like, dang, you didn't even know this whole time. Like, they they have you at the expense of quick needy, you know, thrill seeking things and stuff like that. And it's just, listen, narcissists, when you're solid and you're grounded and you're who you are, and you're connected with self, they don't even understand what that even means. They don't understand what self-worth means. They don't understand what confidence and, you know, being disciplined and stuff like that. They don't know what that means. Straight up. I'm When you make a shift, or when you're just trying to do something, that's why they try to distract you from that. You ain't never noticed when you've been working on said talent or said business, you know, they want to come in and distract you, you know, or get you to help them start something that they're not going to finish. You know, and they continue to distract you with their own, you know, and their own just benefit of you working for this illusion that they're trying to make you act in, stealing your light, because they're bothered by the fact that you could be so connected with self and you can just have a natural light. They're so bothered by that. And as narcissists get older, they increase and become even more aggressive with the manipulation. Like, I'm sure a lot of us can contest to seeing family members who just becoming even more narcissistic than before as you was growing up with them. Trust. Like, man, my parents, like, listen, like it just becomes even more aggressive because there's a light that you shine that bothers them. They cannot take that. They cannot conceptualize, how did you be so comfortable with self? How come you didn't have to conform to these distractions like the rest of us narcissistic people did? Straight up. This is how they're seeing you. It is again, you are a clear indicator on how they're not. And how they're not is connected with self. That's why they have to distract them. That's why they have to be so connected to these things that distract them. Or find other people like this who just want to do toxic shit. And when you're not like that and you're not built like that, and that's not shit you're thinking about, like, that irritates narcissists for real, because they think you're goody two shoes. And again, as they continue to get older and still think this way, like, they wear people out, y'all. Like, over time, people catch on. Like, they wear people out. They start to understand, like, this person ain't really how the hero escape or hero exit that they made at one time in life. It might not have really been like that. That's why I say a lot of times, you healing and not even, and you going no contact and you not having any action whatsoever and just working on yourself tends to dissolve the entire smear campaign, because people can't quite conceptualize. I thought you said this person was toxic, but they're not. But they're doing this and that and the other. Again, when they get to these different supplies over and over and over, whatever story that they're holding up that's not real, they want to see who's going to believe it the most so they can get the most ROI out of their supply. Trust me when I say this. The new supply is worn out. The next supply is going to be worn out. Why? Why you ask me that? Well, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why you ask. Let me give you the answer to that. Because it's too much energy to entertain a narcissist that aggressive. They figure out quite soon how much of the fire rings they got to jump through. They figured that out real soon, because again, the new supply was fed, or they was future fake, just like you and me. It was future fake. So now, again, when a narcissist gets there, you got to understand this. They're looking for a place to just chill out, get more, do less. Even narcissistic people get tired of narcissistic people, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Toxic people get tired of toxic people because it gets too much. They're having a tug of war with power every single day. And this is what I'm saying about your light. There's a moment in time, like, whether you've accepted a hoover or not, there's a moment in time where that narcissist starts to understand, like, that's why I said you become the ghost of standards past, because you tolerated the most with a narcissist. Mm-hmm. And because of that duration and how you had the patience to deal with a narcissist, they're expecting everybody to be like that afterwards. But guess what? They're not. And or it's just not going to be how it was with you and I, because there was a patient tolerance there. Again, the new supply 9 times out of 10 is narcissistic self. Mm-hmm. So again, your who you were and how much you dealt with narcissists at the time, you become a blueprint for how they're gonna manipulate the next person, even with the family. Mm-hmm. Even with coworkers, like they got to see how to manipulate people that are strong. They got to find that way. Your energy, your light, your vibe, your healing, your dedication to just bettering self will always bother them in any shape, form, or fashion, bro. Sis, like, understand that you will always bother them, and it sucks that they can't just congratulate or just be cool or whatever. It just sucks. They'll always have to see their viewpoint is right and they'll never be able to be told wrong. It's no matter what happens and however they do what, they got to be right about it. They got to always be the hero, because you're not even trying to be like that. It's just who you are. You listen. There's probably been moments in your life where you just get bothered for just existing, just because of how you are and who you are. And people gotta bother you. Toxic people gotta bother you. Toxic people gotta get you disconnected with yourself by getting these reactions to see if you react the same toxic way that somebody else would. You know what I'm saying, bro? See, it's like this is the reality of, like, just being an individual, chosen one, an empath, however you describe yourself. Like, just being somebody who's that grounded with the self, who's that secure with their peace and protecting it. You know, even at the times when you were sitting there dealing with the narcissist, you know, a lot of this stuff didn't sit well with you, didn't sit well with your soul. You knew it was wrong. You feel what I'm saying? So with that awareness and then going into your healing journey, like, just understand, like, you'll continue to bother them because you didn't let it defeat you. Mm-mm. You didn't let it defeat you because you knew you didn't want to feel this way. I listen. You know my story. When I first started taking my fitness journey serious, like, the biggest thing that I realized was, dang, how much did I not love myself the way that I thought that I did? Like, when I started to pay attention to these micro habits in order to get certain results in the gym and stuff like that, and eating right, like, I had to understand, like, dang, how much have I been on autopilot? But at the same time, still bothering people that I didn't even know that it was like this until I got the wisdom. So what I'm emphasizing is this, bro, sis. As you progress along your healing journey, um, you'll strategically be able to plan, your energy, your time. You'll understand what self-worth is. Whenever you go no contact, or you gray rock, or you being silent, don't take being silent as being weak. That is, silence is just your wisdom. You've realized that every reaction that an aging narcissist, as you have to continue to deal with them wherever these situations are, like, not to react to them, because you understand how these people are. Again, every reaction is you giving away an emotional deposit into something that's never going to give you ROI back. So just don't even worry about it. Don't even get hype about what a narcissist said or whatever the smear campaign may have you. Like, it's all of it is an illusion, just to get a reaction out of you, to see if they still can get you under that manipulation, because now it indicates that they can relieve you of whatever stress they caused you here. And it's just a terrible place to be, because now you're associating your pain with the release of the narcissist telling you happy words about your relationship. That still makes you feel uncomfortable. But again, when a narcissist sees you do that, they can control your light. That's what I'm emphasizing. And when you take your light back, when you take your control back, it hits them on a different level, because they understand, like, the reality is that you can think for yourself, and everybody is not going to always ride with what you say. That's why I say, when the narcissists, as they get older, they wear people out. Like, my mother passed away with nobody. You feel what I'm saying, bro? Sis, like, I ain't trying to go too far into that, but, like, she passed away with nobody. Because it's not to be off the chain, and it's not to make it a gender thing or nothing like that. It's just the guys in and out. Like, you can't treat people like that. You just can't. You can't expect to treat people like that and think people's gonna want to be here for you as you age. You just cannot. And that was one thing that always kind of bothered me. It's just like, you can't just be treating people like that. You know what I'm saying? And as we all know, the narcissists don't change. That you think that they can't just keep treating people like that and think people gonna always be there for them. Mm-mm. That's why I say the looking for some sort of a downfall. It ain't gonna be a downfall. It's just the cycle is that they're gonna do this to themselves. That's the cycle. Don't stress too much. and put too much effort as to why you feel like the villain, and don't take on so much guilt about situations that you have zero control of. What you've been through with the narcissist, like what they try to get you to believe that was your fault, that's not your fault. It's not your fault for them behaving like that and choosing to act like that. It was never your fault. You didn't do anything. This is just what it was going to always be like. This is just what it was going to always be with anybody that it was going to be with. And that's another thing that I had to accept too, because I know a lot of us survivors always feel like it only happened to me. No, it was going to be anybody. We were just in the timeline. I know it's a bit wild to say, but no, we were just in the timeline. Mm-hmm. So it was just a cycle. Just to have, we was just right there. So this was what they were going to do. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that this was going to happen. This is going to continue to happen, and they're going to wear people out. They always wear people out. Nobody can entertain a narcissist forever. I mean, there are forever supplies. That's the forever supply are people who have no dignity for themselves. Just FYI, like they'll take anything the narcissist will give them as a form of attention, if you rather. So there are such thing, but my emphasis is that because of how you are, and most of us dealt with narcissists longer, in that timeline span. You know what I'm saying? Like they take that as a blueprint and a representation of how new supplies can be. And when new supplies can't be like that, that's when they start to miss you or they hoover you. But they only missing you because of that kind of control they had on you because of how you are for them. It's not in the way where it's loving and caring. It's not like that. A lot of times, we think that they miss it. No, it's not like that. It's not. They just miss the light that you had. They miss being able to control that light. They miss being able to use you however they see fit. And again, it'll always bother them that you're that connected with self. It will always bother them. It will always bother these people. And as you age, you get stronger. Your wisdom increases. You actually work on self. Bro, sis, you actually work on self. When you're watching these kind of videos and this kind of content, you're actually working on self. That is not a real thing in a narcissist mindset. Is to work on self. They're working on better manipulation tactics while you're refining your life. Mm-hmm. It's real. Like, I just really want you to emphasize, bro, sis, you have so much more value than what you know. You have so much more value than what you know, so much more self-worth than what you know. The identity of whatever a narcissist gave you throughout these moments and times in your life, they have nothing to do with how you perceive the world and how you perceive yourself and how you want to feel and how you want to be. Straight up. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, can't nobody really tell you, how to be a good person besides yourself, for real. But you need to have that moral compass. And again, having that moral compass and you being grounded in what you believe in, that bothers narcissists because narcissists are so used to distractions and chaos. That's why they have to continue to try to knock you off your square as they get older and get more aggressive because they're not used to people being so balanced and grounded. Peaceful people bother them because they don't have peaceful people don't have a chaotic mind. They're strategically putting their emotions and time into things. They don't have time to be worrying about things that zap them of their to be drained, to be emotionally and mentally drained, to have their nervous system be normalized in chaos. No, stop letting narcissistic people bother you, bro, sis. I'm so serious because every single time that you do, you're just letting them know that they still got control over you. Not responding is not weakness. It's not. You're just strategically choosing when to respond. You don't need to be putting energy into random things, your light into random things that do nothing for you as you go forward. Your mindset with your life and how you feel with your light is everything that you always knew that it was. The narcissist wants you to have a confliction with that idea. They want you to have a confliction with your identity. That's why they was trying to groom you into believing that you didn't have that kind of light, even though they saw that. But they try to groom you into believe that you didn't have that kind of light. They try to groom you into believing that you had a little bit of light, but let me show you how to use it. Nah, shine your light. Don't be bothered by these kind of toxic people's opinions, and don't be bothered by any of these kind of people's version of what they believe about how you should be. As you continue to grow in your journey, as you continue to go forward, you understand that how you feel about you and how you believe in the world, how you perceive your reality, and how you believe your self-worth should be valued with people and who you reciprocate that with. You'll understand that more and more and more as you get older. Your attention, your energy is so priceless. While the narcissist thinks that it's always on discount. So I hope this message finds you well. I'm Fonzie Murph, and I'm out. Peace.